doing this ride, if we could have about 200 cyclists out there, they're going to be from Greenville, Spartanburg, and Anderson. And we're trying to obviously honor anybody who has been hit before or memorialize anybody who has passed away through a cycling accident. So please show your support. It's a nationwide event.
And with that word from Kimberly Morgan, volunteer organizer extraordinaire, we headed out on Perimeter Road. Now what you're seeing here is not when we started out. This is the second lap. And what I'm doing tonight as I'm recording this is not to try to entertain you, but simply to show those of you who might be coming to Greenville what is happening on Perimeter Road. So we're on what is called Perimeter Road, which goes around the Donaldson Center complex. Within this circuit is a large, I guess, industrial park. There's an airport where planes land and are worked on. There's other, Michelin has some offices in this area. Lots of different industrial and commercial uses. But Perimeter Road is a great little circuit, around 7 miles long, I believe. And here we are, heading on our way. The pace here on lap 2 is around 16 minutes, 16 and a half minutes. On this particular night, the fastest route we did was around, I think, 15 minutes and 50 some seconds. Don't think that the pace continues this way for all 5 laps that we did this night. This was really pretty easy. Most of us kind of had the impression on this particular ride that it wasn't that fast. There was a lot of yo-yo effect, and that could be because I'm at the back of the field at this point, and I was at the back because I wanted to give an idea of the group, the large group. There were a few riders still behind. You'll see there Angela has the Hincappy with the physique there. That's the Hincappy development team. Right there coming in the right side in the red kit is my teammate, Luis Sanchez. Nicole Johnson right in front of me. Can't see it very well, but the guy in front of Nicole with the bottle in the back, that is the new spinner's kit. Looks pretty cool. Maybe we'll get some close-ups later on. And I think that's John James coming around, and I decide, since John and Louie are going up toward the front, I was going to jump on and get in the POA train. Still, there's really nothing happening at this point. A very leisurely ride for the most part at this time. Talking with the guy afterwards, he had counted 344 cars parked out in the area where the cyclists would be arriving. And he estimated there were over 400 riders there at Donaldson Center that night. Now, not all of them were in this ride, because there is also, this is the A group, there's also a B group, and then several versions, I believe, of the C group, and at least at one point there was something known as the D group. I call this turn the golf course turn. Right over to the right is a public golf course. And after you make that turn, there was a climb, steady climb up to that point. After you make the turn, we begin a downhill. You probably can notice speed has picked up a little bit and people aren't pedaling as much. It's because you've got a pretty long coast at this point. You do not want to attack here. The entire ride was 36 miles this particular night, the 5, give or take some yards there. Now we kick back up to another climb. There are times people will attack on this climb as everyone kind of eases off on their pedaling. Coming down the hill, if you're in the right spot, you can attack on the uphill. Kind of a false flat. Or, actually, I take that back. There is some downhill because here's where we come to the little bridge. Now's when things start kicking up and some attacks can take place. And this does begin to hurt at this point because you're enough into the ride, especially by the time you get to the 5th lap, you can do some damage. Funny how in video you really don't get a sense of the grade on these roads, but you can tell by the riders as they stand trying to get some momentum going. Again, that appears to be John James, one of my teammates right in front of me. To the right of him is a Spinks rider. There are a good number of amateur teams, club teams, in the Greenville area. I would say a lot more than even 4 years ago. It makes it fun. Even on a ride like tonight, it's interesting to see how you as a team, even though it's not technically a race, it's interesting to see how you can work together. Now you can see there the stretch, the way the peloton, if I can use that term in this case, is stretching around that curve, gives you an idea of the number of people. And just like if you were watching cycling, we're bunched up at this point, but let's see what happens a little later on in part 2.